Hello, I am Chelsea King Martin,
And I'm Kristin Lee Amundsen Spear.
and we are here together reaching out to you to share with you our stories about our divorce and to welcome you into considering your story and potentially coming to a workshop that we are designing titled Alchemizing Divorce, where we will share our stories and hold space for others to share their stories and really to work magic around honoring the loss and the transition that comes along with divorce.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and this is actually the part that I think I'm most nervous about is the telling of our own stories, because it is just such a rich and really vulnerable place. And so I'm really thankful, Kristin, that you're willing to go first. And just take a little bit of time to share with me and our people out there your story about your divorce.
Yeah. Well, I think back to that day when I found out that my husband no longer wanted to be married. And we were on our 16-year anniversary trip. And I had a feeling something was up. And I had been saying over and over days into this trip that something's just not right, something's wrong, something's not right. And suddenly we hit that point where he kept blowing it off. No, I don't want to talk about it yet because we're not at this point. Or I don't want to talk about it yet because I don't want to ruin dinner. I don't want to talk about it yet because of whatever. I still had no idea what it was that we weren't talking about, but I knew it probably wasn't good. So we got to this point where we're on our bicycles, about to head up this gigantic hill. I hate riding my bicycle up hills. And we're there, and we're sitting, we're having a snack because we're going to do this big ride. And we're sitting down. He said, "Would you like me to tell you now or at the top?" And I'm like, I'm very impatient. Maybe I should have been a little more patient. I said, "Now, tell me now. I've been waiting for 3 days." And he said, "I don't want to be married anymore." And he got on his bike and started pedaling up the hill. And my heart just, I couldn't hear anymore. I couldn't move. I was in shock. I think I was like about to eat something. I don't even remember. And he was gone. And I couldn't breathe. That was the thing I remember most. I couldn't hear and I couldn't breathe. And then I think I got hysterical, like blinded, bawling my eyeballs out, can't breathe, getting up, gathering my things, getting on my bicycle to head up this hill and start riding, kind of. Can't breathe, really hard to ride my bicycle. I'm in tears. So many things happened on the way up that hill. And my chain fell off and I was hysterical and I'm like crying, I can't see, getting my chain back on, but somehow I just kept doing things. It was a very strange place to be in. Of course, my thoughts were going everywhere, like especially towards myself at that time. And I just wanted to, like, can I ride off this cliff? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And I just kept going up. I'm like, why did I keep going up? I did hit this one point where I said, why the hell am I going up this hill? I hate going up hills. Why am I following him? Why would I do that? I'm like, can I cuss? I said, fuck this. I am turning around, I'm going to get my things, and I'm going home. He can find his own way home. Well, sadly, the universe had another idea. My wallet, my ID, we were in another country, in Canada, said, we're up the hill with him. The keys to the car, everything was up that hill. So I went. And it was a long, long journey. At the top, there was some now that I'm far enough away, beautiful moments of sitting there, like, what the heck are we gonna do? And then even on that trip, just the shock of any, most of you going through it, whether you're on one side or the other, just, can't eat? How am I going to get myself on my bicycle back to the ferry to get back home? And what are we going to do? And what, just all the things that go back and forth. And it was a long journey. There were many, many, many more pieces, but that heartbreak explosion and all the tears we cried together and the arguing and it's a complete unraveling and unfolding. But I have to say, one of the favorite parts of my marriage were the last 6 months of it. Mm-hmm. For me, because we both came to that realization that, well, me, because I was the smarter one in the pair, in my opinion, came to the opinion that, look, I'm never doing this again. Mm-hmm. I need to learn whatever the hell I need to learn right now. So what is that, and how do we had come up with the theme, happiness or bust. So if we could be happy together, then we would move forward. If we couldn't, then we would get divorced. And we had, we finally found after many counselors, a therapist that was amazing and worked with us individually as well as as a couple, and finally came to the realization, I think it was really me, I came to the realization that I was never going to get what I wanted from that marriage. And so I guess at the end of that 6 months was the one to say, okay, I think this isn't going to work. Mm. I believe you now. And he said so many things that I'm like, no, that's not true, no way. That now I'm like, oh my God, he totally knew. I had no idea. So that's sort of the short roller coaster gist of it. But it was the most painful thing. I think probably the most painful thing I have ever been through. And yet, some of the deepest, most magical lessons came from that space. I don't know how I ever would have believed it at the time. If I could go back and tell myself at that moment, oh my God, this is going to be amazing, I would have probably kicked myself because I would not have believed it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Crazy to go back
I've heard
there.
pieces of your story, but never strung together that way, and from that perspective. And so I appreciate you sharing that with me and with our people who are watching. And
thank you, and thank you for listening. It's a good thing to share. I've shared it a few times, but never in this context of actually having people listen for the connection of it, for the threads and the similarities. So I really appreciate that. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.